Hello everyone and welcome to this week's reviews. There are a bunch of films opening this week, so I'm actually going to be doing two sets of reviews. One today and the other on Thursday. The latest Pixar movie is here, after already becoming a blockbuster hit in Mexico. The story of Miguel, an aspiring musician who finds himself transported to the land of the dead. This is Coco. Like a lot of Pixar films, this is the visual imagination and emotion we've come to expect from them. Director Lee Unkrich and his co-director Adrian Molina show a clear respect for Mexican culture and portray it beautifully. I imagine there are many in-jokes that went over my head, but the film does a really nice job of letting us into Miguel's little town and understanding his family history and traditions. I think the best scenes come when we first see the land of the dead. The depiction of the customs that transfer the dead to the land of the living is very creative, as are the DMV-like bureaucratic headquarters. The animation on the skeleton shows a lot of creativity and shows how with each film Pixar finds new things to play around with. Miguel is a likable lead, and we certainly root for him, although I thought he shouted a little too much. Miguel's friendship with Hector was nicely portrayed, and the film actually brought some new ideas to the table, beyond the standard two characters who initially don't get along, but eventually bond plotline that is common in Pixar films. By the way, this marks Pixar's first musical, and the songs are very good. Remember Me is definitely the highlight, and proves to be a rather important song rather than merely window dressing. I can absolutely see it winning the Best Original Song Oscar. I will say I found some of the story beats to be fairly predictable, and the climax seemed to be stretched out with quite a few endings. Nonetheless, Coco managed to pack the necessary emotional punch at the conclusion. While not among my favorite Pixar films, Coco is a very sweet and touching film about remembering our loved ones, and it does not surprise me at all that it's been embraced in Mexico. Next up is Denzel Washington as a lawyer who ends up working for a big firm in Roman J. Israel, Esquire. This definitely serves as a vehicle for Denzel Washington, and he gives a very good performance. It's a different sort of performance as he plays somebody who's socially awkward and slightly quirky, although I wish the film had explored him beyond that. It actually takes a little while for the film to really get going, as it retreated to scenes of legal jargon, and the story is sort of trying to introduce multiple plot threads at once. It starts to pick up when Roman joins a law firm headed by Colin Farrell. Seeing him in this new work environment provides a much-needed jolt to the proceedings. I also appreciated how director-writer Dan Gilroy handled Farrell's character. When he first appears, you think he's going to be the antagonist who's constantly on Roman's case, and he is stern at first. However, the film manages to make you understand his point of view, and Farrell is able to make him sympathetic. The subplot with Roman at the activist center did not seem to go anywhere, and his relationship with Carmen Ejogo didn't really seem to develop much. That's sort of the main problem with Roman J. Israel Esquire, as it's trying to juggle all these plot points and they don't entirely mesh together in a way that's narratively satisfying. A lot of this film really is carried on Denzel Washington's shoulders. This is not a badly made film at all, but I feel it needed another trip to the editing room. One more, because the cut that's now playing is actually different from the version that's screened at the Toronto Film Festival. Thank you for watching this week's reviews, and I'll see you next time.